Good morning, Hubert.
Yeah, good morning.
You've talked a good bit in recent weeks about validation, and I know some of your players said after the Connecticut trip that they had circled the Michigan game because that was a big opponent, and they wanted to show they could play well against top tier talent. Is UCLA that same kind of game? And I don't want to call it a litmus test game, but is that a good opportunity to kind of see how things have progressed?
You know, the UCLA game is for us. I mean, obviously, UCLA is an unbelievable team. Coach Cronin is a fantastic coach, and they're just a talented group. And so, but it's also the next game. And so I've said this before. The thing that I look at, and the thing that I always talk to the players, is focusing on the preparation, the process, and the practice, and the play will take care of itself. And so that's all we're doing throughout the entire year is focusing on making sure that we're improving, we're getting better. I'm not into, tests or, circling one game as something that's more important than just the game that you're supposed to be playing next. We're we're concerned about us becoming the best basketball team that we can become. And as of right now, UCLA is the next team that we're playing.
Thank you.
Michael Coe.
Hey, Coach. So when it comes to guarding Juzang for UCLA, is there almost sort of a level of excitement among guys like Leaky and Ant, similar to the lead up to DeVoe and Georgia Tech, of testing yourself against one of the best scorers in the nation?
I don't know. I haven't spoke with Leaky. I know that he's really excited about his effort defensively in general this year. I'm so proud of Leaky. He's really, probably anybody on the team has settled into his role the quickest and the best. He's really taken pride on being a really good defensive player, but he can distribute the basketball. I think I mentioned before, he's the only guy on our team that has a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. He can distribute, he can rebound, and then against Furman in the second half, I thought his 2 jumpers just gave us so much life on both ends of the floor when he hit the long 2 and then the 3-pointer. And so I'm just really proud of Leaky. He's having a fantastic season, and he's showing everybody that he's one of the best defenders in the country.
C.L. Brown.
Hey, Hubert, kind of continuing that, I feel like Leaky maybe gets a lot of flack, at least in these Twitter streets, because maybe his offensively he hasn't come around to being this kind of top-notch scorer. But I was wondering if you could just kind of expound on how essential it is to have a player like Leaky as a key part of rotation with all of the different things that he can do.
Well, first of all, I'm not on Twitter. I've never been on Twitter, and I never will be on Twitter, and have no desire to ever be a part of Twitter. I can't imagine anything said on Twitter being anything negative towards Leaky. I really can't think of, and obviously I haven't seen everybody in the country, but somebody that's playing as well as he is on the defensive end. He's bought into his role, and offensively, he is a threat. When he's open and there's an opportunity for him to make a play, run the floor in transition, get an offensive rebound, or make an open jump shot, he does that. When he's open and it's a good shot, but he has an opportunity to pass to somebody else that provides us a great shot, he does that. I think any coach in the country would love to have a player that plays with that type of passion and that type of mindset. And I played 4 years here and 12 years in the NBA. There's a lot of money for guys that get after it on the defensive end. And so Leaky's not only playing extremely well for us, he's also putting himself in a position to play at the next level. With his size and athleticism at 6'8" and his versatility, there is a spot for him at the next level.
Andrew Jones.
Hey, Coach, you've spoken quite a bit in the last couple of weeks about Kerwin and a little bit less of Justin with the minutes they have and some of the things they have to do. Could you kind of expand on that a little bit more specifically what you need to see from Kerwin, what you need to see from Justin for them to maybe have a bigger role in the rotation?
Well, I mean, in terms of, Kerwin and Justin, both of them, I'll speak first about Kerwin. He's a lights out shooter. I mean, he's a guy that can stretch the floor, but he's not just a shooter. He's a basketball player. I really feel like he's improved a lot defensively. He can handle the ball, and we've put him in situations where he comes off ball screens. And I've always believed that, I want our guys to be basketball players. I don't want them to be shooters, one-dimensional players. They're basketball players, so that in any situation on either side of the floor that you can compete and you can make plays and you're a benefit to the team. And I really believe that Kerwin and Justin, by the end of the year, there are going to be times where their roles out there on the floor are going to be fantastic for us. Like, in order for us to be the best team possible, we need Kerwin, we need Justin to be big-time players, and they're going to be, and they are. And they're going to have their bright moments out there on the floor, and I'm so thankful that I'm their coach and that they're on this team. They're a huge part and piece.
I can ask a quick.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm sorry. I thought you were
Andrew,
done.
let Hubert finish first, then you can ask a follow-up. Coach, are you done?
I got
with
you.
it?
No, both of them are a huge piece of what we're trying to accomplish as a team. That's it.
Yeah, my apology. I thought he was done. Quick follow-up. Have you had to have specific conversations with them, especially Kerwin, about his role and getting him to understand, because it is quite different than a year ago?
Everybody's, their role is I don't have to have a meeting and to specifically tell a player what their role is. Their role is to be the best player possible, show up every day and do their job. And not only show up every day and do their job, but do their job to the best of their ability. And that's what Kerwin and Justin have been doing from day one. I can't tell you how happy I am with both of them. And they're going to have unbelievable seasons, and I've been very happy with them thus far. And I'm looking forward to their contributions for the rest of the season. I love coaching them.
Thank you.
Brendan?
Hey, Hubert, good morning. Something that both Armando and Dawson spoke about after the Furman game the other night was that guys, sort of expounding on what you've said so far, have bought into their roles, but also that they've come together maybe a little bit more than they had earlier in the season. And I know you guys had that week-long break over Thanksgiving. I don't know that we ever really drilled into some of the things you did to maybe help the team come together, but I was just wondering if you could expand on how that time and sort of the winning streak that it has inspired helped guys, I guess, find a sense of camaraderie or team or finding their roles, however you want to call it.
Well, I don't think it's anything, specific that we did. We didn't have like a closed door meeting, or, we didn't have a retreat where we sat in a room, just us as a team for a weekend. It takes time, like we have two freshmen in Dontrez and DeMarco. We have 3 transfers in Justin and Dawson and Brady, and they have a new coach, and we've only played 10 games. And so it takes time, and it takes time to build relationships. It takes time to figure each other out there on the floor. And I feel like every day we're becoming more comfortable with each other out there on the floor, and we spend a lot of time together off the court. As I said before, one of the things that I do is I require the guys to stop by the office at least 3 times a week. And when you stop by the office, you have to say hello to all the coaches, and you can't talk about basketball. And so we spend time together, and I tell them I can't coach them unless I know them, and they can't play for me unless they know me. And so it isn't one specific thing. This program, one of the foundation pieces is relationships, and we have great relationships. But on the court, this particular group is relatively new, and so we're all trying to figure out our roles and rotations and how we work together. And I feel like the chemistry between all of us has gotten better each day.
If I can follow up shortly, in what ways have you I know you said it's only a short time, 10 games in what ways have you found out better ways to build those relationships, just you individually and connecting with the guys?
The only way that I know how to develop relationships is spend time with each other. I always tell people that the best way to communicate is face to face. And so I relentlessly spend time with all of our players, whether it's in my office, whether we go have lunch or breakfast. I have them over to the house. It's important because as I said before, it sounds easy, but the only way that you can coach somebody is you have to know them. And so you can hold every player to the same standard and foundation, but I communicate with them specifically. There's some guys on the team that I have to start off with encouragement before I get my point across. And there's other players that I can be straightforward and direct from the start. And I know that because I've spent time with them. And so I really do. This group is extremely close. I love our friendship and our relationships, and I like where we're going on and off the court.
Thank you.
Ross Martin.
Hey, this is not a serious question, so I wanted to ask at the end. But Coach,
Shocking that it's coming from you, Ross. Go ahead.
What did you say?
Go ahead.
Coach Davis, I've been kind of tracking what you wear on the sideline coaching, and obviously there's been a transition away from suits for a lot of coaches, but you have these pullovers where your whole staff wears a different colored pullover. I was wondering the mindset on how y'all dress on the sideline and who makes that decision? Do you make the decision? And thoughts on the different variety of colored pullovers that y'all have been wearing. It's different than what obviously Coach Williams and a lot of people did leading up to this year.
Yeah, at first, Coach Jeff Lebo was in charge of coordinating the outfits on the bench, and I just don't think he did a really good job. And so I took it over last game, and I said, from the urging of Coach Brad Frederick, he wanted me to take over in terms of coordinating what we're going to wear on the sidelines. I don't really care. I just love coaching this group, and I love being around them, and I love being their head coach. And so whether it's a quarter zip or it's Jordan shoes or it's a suit, I just love being in this role, and I love coaching this group. But Coach Lebo was in charge at the beginning of the year and struggled a little bit in terms of coordinating the colors. And so now that I've taken over.
I've noticed since y'all all wear the same color pullover since that move.
Yes. That is different. Coach Lebo wanted us to all he wanted us to all wear the same thing, and I said, that's fine. Just tell me, which quarter zip you want me to wear. That's the last thing that's on my mind, and we'll show up at the game. There's one thing that I did say that I didn't want to do. I didn't want everybody to wear one quarter zip and then me wear another one. We're all the same. It doesn't matter who's head coach, assistant coach, or we're all part of the family, and we're all the same importance.
We have time for 3 last questions. Make them quick, please. Mike Toper, Adam Smith, CL Brown. Go ahead.
Good morning, Coach. To do a complete 180 from that, we obviously opened up talking about UCLA and Courtney and the women's team. They just had a game canceled due to COVID. I'm sure you're aware of what's going on in the NFL. As it seems the situation is getting worse with the pandemic, do you have any conversations with your players? I don't know about being safe, but about just kind of what is occurring in sports and just how you go about your daily activities?
We do. We every day we talk about the importance of putting yourself in a position where you can stay healthy, and really not anything specific towards so you can be healthy to play, just healthy in general, and just being careful and making smart choices. Those are things that we talk about to the players every day. But we've been through this last year. We know that situations like this, things can change. I was just reminded this morning that we had 2 games last year, the 2 that I can remember. We had already gone through the scouting report and didn't have a chance to play Clemson, and then we had the Miami at home game that was canceled right before the game. And so those are things that we cannot control. What we can control is how we prepare, how we practice, and how we play. And so I always talk to the guys about, let's focus our attention to things that we can control. And that's taking care of ourselves here, being the best team that we can be, and when we leave the court, making smart choices from a health standpoint. But those are things that we talk to the team consistently every day.
Adam, then CL.
Hubert, that's exactly kind of what I was going to ask, was that does UCLA's situation, bring up bad memories of last year, or just like, all of the different sort of, things that you had to go through just to play games last year and to practice and to get through the thing did? Was it in any way like this is not a great deja vu?
No, not at all. One of the things that I remind the guys all the time is, my time here at Carolina, we never had a scouting report. Not one time at Carolina did we ever have a scouting report. We didn't go through the opposing team's plays. We didn't watch film and clips of the players. We didn't practice their plays during practice prior to playing them. Coach Smith used to write the roster up on the board, whomever we were playing, and he would put a star next to a guy that could shoot, and he would put 2 stars next to a guy that could really shoot. That was it. And so all the things that we did in practice, if we just did the things that we practiced in practice, it would prepare us for the game. And so I think scouting reports are overrated. It's good information. It gives them, a little head start in terms of their anticipation on both ends of the floor to prepare them and to help them be the best that they can be. But I also believe that it's not needed. And so I remind them that that you don't need a scouting report. If you just do the things that you practiced in practice, it'll put yourself in a position to play your best.
Final question, CL.
Hey, Hubert, you talked about after the Furman game, immediate change, being the kind of team that can, immediately change what you've done from play to play. I was just curious. It seems like you guys have made changes in halves. Like either you start off fast in a half, or the opponent does, and then you have to shut them down. I was wondering if that is at all a concern of yours, that it just hasn't been like necessarily a complete game, you guys, going 50% both halves or whatever, or are you proud of the fact that you guys can, in a situation, especially on the road where you might find yourself struggling in one way, you can hit the switch and turn things around?
Well, I am encouraged, CL, that we can make changes. I think, through games, there are going to be good times and bad times. And through those times that you're struggling, how quickly can you adjust and how quickly can you change from a positive aspect? And I think that's something to celebrate. I think that's something to be encouraged, and something that I like about our team is that we can change, we can adjust, we can pivot in order for us to be better out there on the floor. And so I'm very encouraged about that. Would any coach, would they love to have a game where there's no adjustments, no pivots, and no changes? Everything that they're doing is right and everything is working perfectly. I would love to have that, CL, and my hope is that every game for the rest of the year that happens. The reality is it isn't, and so one of the things is we don't focus on perfection, but we practice in a way to. Well, one of the things that people say is it's not perfect practice. It's consistently doing the right things in practice to try to be the best that you can be, and so that's what we do. And I really like how we've adjusted and pivoted and changed in games, and it's been a huge benefit for us. And to be honest with you, I'm very encouraged by that. But I'm also hopeful that there's a game where we don't have to and we play great the entire game.
Thank you.
Coach Davis, thank you very much. Everybody with the media, thank you for jumping on. And again, if anything changes, we will let you know. Appreciate it.